Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Blood pressure, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone combination. My dharma, the impeccable wisdom, the wisdom of the divine nature. My greatest discovery, Divyank, the divine design of nature with which the perfect objects are designed and created. Divyank is the reward of 60 years of integrated knowledge. Impeccable wisdom is enlightening. Akhand Vidya wisdom is empowering. To understand this particular concept of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone combination to improve the low blood pressure to high blood pressure, this whole concept is only to understand. Entire one object which I made it very clear that kidneys are very small, shaped like a bean in Deviant ratio, highly concentrated, too much of blood coming, but purification of all the waste and unwanted products so that we can be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy. From that angle, whenever the blood pressure falls down, our blood volume falls down, this particular combination plays very important role, and the concept of angiotensinogen, renin, angiotensin, and aldosterone combination to improve low blood pressure to the normal blood pressure in a very systematic stage has been taken into this particular consideration. And in that, let me start with angiotensinogen formed in liver. Liver is a very vital organ. It is another organ where a lot of blood flows into digestive system plus liver to make sure water is required for 100 trillion cells for perfect homeostasis and health is provided adequately without any difficulty. So the first step which played in the body is with gastrointestinal system to give continuous supply of water, nutrients, electrolytes, and essential ingredients for all the 100 trillion cells from digestive system, which includes pancreas and liver at the same time. Angiotensinogen is produced by the liver. Let's understand what it is all about. Angiotensinogen is an alpha globulin precursor protein that produces angiotensin peptides produced primarily by the cells of the liver. Liver produces this. And also, same thing is how it plays a role, we will talk about it. Angiotensin is a compound of renin, angiotensinogen, aldosterone system. It regulates blood pressure from lower and fluid level to the higher level. Angiotensin is also known as a renin substrate and belongs to non-inhibiting serpin family of proteinase inhibitors. Angiotensin is also produced by other vital organs like adipose tissues, heart, brain, etc. It is not only liver can produce, cells of the skin can also produce, heart can produce, brain can produce, almost all the vital organs which are essential to make sure that we survive come what may. The whole system is beautifully designed, keeping Divyank in mind. I have also spoken about, since we are talking about excretory system or urinary system, we have two kidneys, two ureters, one bladder, and urethra. Structurally, we know there is enclosed kidney shape in Divyank ratio 3:5. You have a capsule, then you have a calyx which contains 80% of the cortical nephrons. Then you have a medulla which has pyramid and it has juxtapedullary things are 20%, which help in concentration to higher cystatic form. And then you have calyx, collecting ureters and expulsion from the body. I have already spoken. This is just to create a sequence how we should have a perfect answer when we want to explain things in an integrated way, both horizontal as well as vertical. And since I'm talking of only perfect human being, for perfect homeostasis and life, my focus is only on perfection, not on disease model. As I've written, cortical nephron 80%, as you can see on top, and just a medullary with the vasa recta down for concentration. I've already explained, and I think this picture should make it clear that this is how the sequence goes. Now let's come to the main issue of juxtaglomerular apparatus, the one in which renin is produced. Angiotensinogen is produced in the liver, is carried to the body in the blood. Whenever the blood pressure comes down, renin is produced. Now let's understand how renin can be understood very clearly in this particular picture. First, glomerular filtration I have already explained to you. You have anterior arterioles, then you have capillaries in the Bowman capsule, and then efferent things. But as afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole go, and then urine is formed, the proximal convoluted tube, and then it also comes to distal convoluted tubule. When it comes to the distal convoluted tubule, it comes very close to afferent and efferent cells, where arterioles play a role along with these cells, is very closely approximated there. And that's the message which I'm giving it clear. It is associated with an afferent arterioles and efferent arterioles, and this has got cells. And what are the difference? Afferent arterioles, efferent arterioles, distal convoluted, and densa macula are the cells which are responsible to control and regulate renin formation. And renin regulates the glomerular hemodynamics, the way the blood flows into the glomerulus Bowman capsules is regulated by this content, and whenever the blood volume comes down, blood pressure comes down, the stimulus is very clear. You need to produce renin. It's only low blood pressure, not in high blood pressure. It helps stabilize homeostatic blood pressure. It helps in the formation of angiotensinogen 2. It is also associated with angiotensin converting enzyme. So now sequence is very clear. Angiotensinogen is produced in the liver, is in the blood. Low blood pressure, distal convolutions, macula densa produce renin. Whenever blood pressure comes down, and it has to evolve blood pressure and blood volume to normal stage is required. As I told you in the beginning, there are 10 stages of homeostasis which are important for everybody to be perfectly healthy. And first thing I always talk about is water, 61.8034%. This particular ratio is there on the earth, is there in the human body, and there also the human cells. At every level it's same thing. If this is maintained throughout, you are likely to be perfectly healthy. Then second, nutrients like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, and other essential ingredients. This is a continuous supply. Blood volume of 5 liters, cardiac output of 5 liters, blood pressure of 120/74, mean arterial blood pressure 93, and then acid-base balance, body temperature, hormone levels, and these are the 10 elements which I already spoken about. We have to make sure they are perfectly normal. So blood volume comes down, or cardiac output comes down, blood pressure comes down is one thing when we lose water component from the body. So a process of this is to reabsorb water as well as sodium, and expulsion of potassium is the primary function of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. I hope you understand this is, and of course, even hypothalamus produces ADH or vasopressin, that is antidiuretic hormone, which also makes sure that we don't pass a lot of urine. ADH helps to reabsorb along with renin. That could also be a combination of this particular concept. Now let's go on to the next stage. This particular picture is very important, and it is from Encyclopedia Britannia, and after seeing almost all the pictures which are there, I thought this is very significant and very important, which can make things very clear. Right on top I had written renin, angiotensin, aldosterone. Then renin angiotensin system, drop in blood volume, drop in fluid volume is a problem to start with. Right in the middle you can see liver, which produces angiotensinogen. That comes from liver to the blood, and renin released from the kidneys from macula densa also comes and works as angiotensinogen and converts it into angiotensinogen 1, and that goes to blood, and of course it goes to lungs at the same time. After liver it is kidneys, blood, and then to the lungs, and lungs have to produce angiotensin converting enzyme is released from lungs, and that acts on angiotensin 1 and converts to angiotensin 2. In answer to my questions on Quora, the role of system, how we could advise and not fall sick and die because of COVID-20. Right in the beginning of itself, I did make it clear. Coronavirus is the one which helps, like ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme. It blocks the system. When it blocks the system, they're going to fall in blood volume, fall in blood pressure, and the person is going to die because the artificial thing created by angiotensin converting enzyme stop. And this particular thing also is happening in the lungs, and when this enzyme works on angiotensin 1, it gets converted to angiotensin 2, which is carried by blood to adrenal gland. So I'm sure one thing very clear, livers produce angiotensin, renin by kidneys, convert in angiotensin 1, and angiotensin converting enzyme released from lungs acts on that to convert to angiotensin 2, and angiotensin 2 goes to adrenal gland. Adrenal gland cortex has got three parts, first, second, and third. The first layer produces aldosterone, which is mineralocorticoid. That means its objective is to stabilize minerals, particularly water and sodium, and expulsion of potassium. That takes care. Since blood volume has come down, we need to reabsorb water. Concentration has come down, also we need. Blood pressure has come down, we need. Cardiac output has come down, it has to be improved. So we need water, we need sodium. These two are very important elements to keep our blood pressure intact so that all the 100 trillion cells are perfectly healthy. So this particular process will make sure aldosterone produces adequate amount of aldosterone, mineralocorticoids, to reabsorb water and sodium and expulsion of potassium. Right at the right side you can say aldo acts on kidneys to stimulate reabsorption of salt, sodium chloride and water. It hasn't mentioned about potassium, but let me tell you, potassium is expelled. And that goes to kidneys, and these two things are reabsorbed, and that restabilizes blood volume, cardiac output, as well as blood pressure. Angiotensin 2 also has another act. It acts directly on blood vessels, stimulating vasoconstriction or narrowing, which is a sympathetic of sympathomimetic drugs. In other words, we can also say angiotensinogen by and large is a sympathomimetic thing. So when blood pressure comes down, blood volume comes down, cardiac output comes, That's the time when adrenal gland and sympathetic system should come and play important role to stabilize. And here it is the sympathetic stimulation which is trying to mobilize water, blood pressure, bringing vasoconstriction and supply blood to all the vital organs perfectly. So there is an element of sympathomimetic hormone and this combination works with that. So in other words, you can easily say this is a combination which centers around sympathetic system and works like a sympathetic system in a very subtle way. And all the vital organs step by step play a role. In the process, let me make it very, very clear at this particular juncture. Okay, if you want to be perfectly healthy, all the 100 trillion cells of the body spread over different tissues, different 10 organ systems and full organism have to work in unison with each other. Only then we can expect to be perfectly healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, intelligent, intuitively, and universal consciousness. So, the knowledge of Akhand Vidyashram is very clear. No human being who is not into medical profession is aware of perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and psychology. And objective of Akhand Vidya is also to give a perfect knowledge, which could also be used from school, college to the university to research for perfect integrated health. And my focus is only for perfect physical health, emotional stability, mental alertness, super intelligence, super consciousness, and be in tune with nature, with a perfect body, the way a human being is designed. And this information is not available anywhere in the world. No book gives this kind of information, but I'm glad with the help of Divyank, I'm able to bring forth those issues which are not being clubbed together and show this is the design, this needs to be done. So coming to stage at this particular juncture, I can only say this particular concept of angiotensinogen by liver and skin and heart and brain and other parts is produced, and that represents somewhere in the sympathomimetic format. Renin also has the same sympathomimetic express. Angiotensin converting enzyme in the lungs also plays the same sympathomimetic effect. And first stage of angiotensinogen plays an important role in flavor. The second stage produces glucocorticoids to bring blood to glucose also lead to the normal. Third produces androgen, testosterone and estrogen, also important for vital organs. And then you have adrenal medulla which produces sympathomimetic enzymes only, adrenaline and noradrenaline, catecholamines, dopamine and related things. So the whole thing is following into quote unquote a very sympathomimetic format. And I think that is important for everybody to understand how beautiful are design, how perfect is design, how we need to make sure that our diet is perfect, exercise are perfect, we use times intelligently to make sure that we lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy life. So I think over a period in this I've been able to show the combination of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone is very clear to bring blood volume to the normal, blood pressure to the normal, mean arterial blood pressure to 93 and make you perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. Last picture, as I've told you, in this picture, using this picture, let me add little more components. I've been of the opinion that Kundalini plays very important role in bringing awareness of all the 10 different chakras, major chakras, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Nabhi or Manipura, Usha, Anhata, Vishuddhi, Agnya, Vigyan, Pragyan and Sahasrara. I have added new elements, not those 7 which everybody else has spoken about, but the 10 ones which are related with endocrine system and autonomic nervous system. which is a combination of both sympathetic and parasympathetic. A combination of sympathetic and parasympathetic is absolutely essential to maintain and balance of all the endocrine glands and their hormones is equally important. Both endocrine gland hormones and autonomic nervous system, they work in unison with each other as a combination to make sure that subconscious, unconscious, and including conscious and superconscious are automatically taken care. And most of these organs are related with reptilian brain, which is three parts of the brainstem: midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, and the entire spinal cord. And they are designed, and that is what you see in lower animals. They don't need doctors. And I'm sure if we take care of reptilian brain completely, we also don't need to take care of doctors. But there are certain things which we have to understand. Animals eat when they're hungry. But unfortunately, we eat when we are not hungry, when there is no need. We don't take care how much water we have to take, how much food we have to take, how many different things we have to take. We have become like a gluttons, taking each and everything coming and taking all the unnatural things which is not designed. So from that angle, I've also made it very clear, we human beings are frugivorous, frugal animals like birds. As birds can fly, so our mind can also fly. And this is what also represented in this particular picture. If this picture is understood, I'm sure all of us can understand how to lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy. So I think I have explained the concept very clear. Prime objective of Angiotensinogen, Renin, Angiotensin, Aldosterone combination is to improve the blood volume, water, cardiac output, hydrogen chloride combinations, and maintaining blood pressure to normal level 120/74 to 93 mean arterial blood pressure. As a result, we could be perfectly healthy. I think from that angle, this information is more than enough for everybody to understand and build on it. Anyway, thank you very much.